I will record. And the first announcement, I have already put our class session on the website, the YouTube. You can access through the link I provided at announcement at the platform. So if you have any questions, you can ask here. Today, we will continue our class, and what we will do is at the beginning, we will do certain review. So of inheritance, okay, so inheritance. Hey, so I will do a briefly review. Oh, one thing I should mention is that the last class, my internet suffers certain kind of interruption. So I hope today is no problem. If there's a problem, please wait to the last minute of the class, then you can leave the chatting room. So I will try my best to if this problem happens again, then I will try my best to reconnect to the network. Okay, so come back. We will first do some review of the inheritance. So the first one, inheritance, is actually we deal with the special class, or we call it a subclass, is the special case of the base class, or we call it a superclass, right? So this is definition of the inheritance. Every constructor cannot be inherited. Okay, so make sure you should create a constructor for each class. Even if they are in the inheritance relationship, they cannot inherit it. The special classes cannot inherit it, cannot be inherited. Inherit constructor from the superclass. Okay, but we can use, so in the constructor, we can say that, okay, when you create an instance of the superclass with the same signature, the superclass constructor with the same signature will be first called. Okay, this is the first thing. When we can also use the super. So this is the super keyword to call the specific constructor at the superclass. Okay. If you don't have the same signature constructor at the superclass, then at the constructor in the subclass, you can use the super keyword to call the specific constructor at the superclass, but make sure the super should be the first statement, first line at the subclass constructor. Okay, so this one is, you should put this line at the first, as the first line to call the superclass constructor, because this is the same thing, because you want to, when you create the instance, the superclass constructor will be first called, right? So this one is for the constructor. Okay, any other public methods public fields, methods, but I should also say protected fields or methods can be inherited by the subclass from the superclass. Okay, this is general rule. Any other public or protected fields or methods can be inherited or can be, actually you can access directly by the subclass from the superclass. Okay, if the methods in the superclass do not satisfy the actual requirement of the subclass. So the subclass may do certain kind of things special, but the method provided by the superclass is not that good, then the subclass can override the superclass method. Okay, so the override means same method name and the same method signature. So signature means the parameter list. So this one means override. Make sure you can distinguish override with the overload. Overload has same method name but different method signature. Okay, so if the superclass does not want a subclass to override its method, it can put final keyword to forbid overriding. Okay, you can put a final as a keyword to forbid overriding. Okay, then the subclass cannot override the method. Okay, so this is the fundamental for the inheritance. So for the last class, we do is one thing, we compare four different access files. Okay, so we have public. This is the broader one. Any method, if you declare as a public, then any class can access those methods or field. So if you declare as a public. So then we have protected. Protected, only the class within the inheritance relationship means it's the subclass of this class provided that method or field can access. So it's a subclass or its own class or it's a subclass classes can access that methods or fields. So this is protected. And the default is only the methods of the class within the same package can access the methods or fields. So if you declare as default. Okay, the last one is private. The private is its own class. Only its own class can access that field or method. So when you declare as a private. Okay, so make sure you have 4 different access files in the Java. And we also do abstract class. Oh, abstract class is the class can be used as the superclass of other class, but it cannot generate the instance. So there's no instance for that class. This class is only used as the superclass of other classes. So of other classes, these other classes can be another abstract class or concrete classes. Okay, other abstract classes, it can be a superclass of other abstract classes or the concrete classes. Concrete class means they can generate the instance. You can use new to generate this instance for this class, but abstract class, you cannot do that. We have also abstract methods. So abstract methods is the method only has the header without body. Okay, this is the abstract methods. Abstract methods, if your class has abstract methods, it should be declared, this class should be declared as an abstract class. Abstract class can have no abstract methods, okay? So this is the relationship. So abstract class, abstract methods. If the class has the abstract methods, it should be abstract class. Okay, it should be the abstract class. The abstract methods, abstract method should be overridden at its subclass. Okay, so this is you should override at somewhere, you should override this abstract methods. Okay, so last time I showed the example, but it's not that, it's stop when the network disconnect. So today I will show this example again. Let me see where it is. No sharing. So let me see. Where's my network? Okay, so here I declare shape as an abstract class because I do not want to give the instance for this shape. There's no instance for the shape, right? There's no shape means shape. So within that, you can have your field. So abstract class can have a field. It's called color. So I public shape, have a color. So this one is the constructor. So the superclass, since it's abstract class, is the superclass of other class. So you can have your own constructor. So later when we look at the interface, then this is another story. You cannot have your interface constructor for the interface. Oh, can't see my screen? Okay, so I will redo share screen. Okay, good. So let us continue. Let us continue. So abstract class. So I can declare field. So I can declare field. Okay, I can declare constructor. I can have a normal method in the abstract class. Okay, make sure that this is abstract class. So it's the normal, or you can treat it like a normal class, but just cannot create the instance for this class. So you can have your field, you can have your constructor, you can have your own method, concrete method. For example, here, you can get color. This is the concrete. You have the implementation. You can also have your abstract methods. Abstract methods, I declare two. One is get area, one is to print. Okay, when my rectangle extends shape this time, I should override, since it's a concrete, it's not abstract, so it's a concrete, so I should override all these abstract methods. So make sure you should override all abstract methods in the abstract class. Right, this is very important. If you are the concrete class, you should override all abstract methods in the abstract class. So that's why I do here. I have the get area, I have to print. Okay, and of course I have the shape class, square class, which is the extends from the rectangle. So in the rectangle class, since my rectangle constructor, I need the length, width, and the color. So I will put super to color. So I will call the specific constructor in the super class, which is the abstract class shape. So one question is, can you have protected method within abstract class? So let us try. So this is the access files. So it can be, hey, but if you declare like here, it's also okay because it's access files. It's not related to the class, right? It's just like the access files to declare who can access. So, but you cannot declare as a private here because you will override it, right? So, but for me, I would like to follow our guideline to say that, okay, the methods, I will put it as public, but protected is fine. All right, so we move forward. So now when I create the instance, so first thing, you cannot say that, okay, I want to create the instance for shape, okay? So if I declare like a shape here, to say I just get red input, then you will get error message because this one is the abstract class. You cannot declare instance for this abstract class. Make sure this is very important. So what can I initialize? Because I can use shape as the data type based on the polymorphism. So last class we did the polymorphism. But I should give it a concrete class instance. So it can point to a concrete class instance. Okay, so I can use a shape to access all the methods declared in the shape class. So for example, here I can use toPrint. I can call get area. I can call, for example, I can say get color. Okay, it's all no problem because it's already declared as at the abstract class. But for example, I want to call get length. For example, here, I want to get length. So since it's not declared as the superclass, so you cannot do that. So it's the same as our inheritance, right? So you cannot get length. So you cannot get length because this one is not provided by the shape class. So, but if I do want to do is I can do that. Let me try. Okay, so this one I can do that. And this guy we call the typecasting. I tell the system that this is the real is a square. So a shape definitely is the data type is shape, but it's point to the things which is the actually square. So then I can do typecasting, and then I can call the methods within that class. So this is the way we do that. Okay. So typecasting. So I got the length is 5, right? So okay, so this one is our abstract class as well as our typecasting. So the typecasting use it to tell the system what is the real type or which is the real instance you created and give to the abstract class data type. So make sure, so you can do that. So typecasting. Hey, so far so good. Any question? All right, so let us move forward. Go back to my whiteboard. So this we finish our abstract class. Now we go back to our whiteboard. Okay, I will clear, and we will do one more thing today. Is okay. So architecture, architecture of the Java code. of the Java. So let us, now we can look at the whole picture of the Java. So Java language. So some guys, I don't know whether you have these questions or not. Why I can directly do toString method? Why can I directly access equals method to compare with others? So other objects or objects. So why I can directly do that? Why maybe you don't do that one, but we do have the hash code. So anyone has this kind of questions? So why I can directly call toString method? Why I can directly do equals compare with the other object? Why we can have the hash code? So actually, in Java language, we have at the beginning, we have the object class. So object class is the very first class, and all other classes are directly or indirectly. Means you have your superclass, and this superclass, you have bunch of your superclass, so go back to the very beginning superclass, then its superclass is object class. So it's all other classes are directly or indirectly inherited from object class. This is the very first class in Java. And this time, within the object class, we have that three methods. So toString equals hash code provided by the object class. That's why you can use equals directly without create the methods in the class, because it's inherited from the object class. So then we know that, okay, the very beginning when the compiler when you run your Java code, the object class instance will first object constructor will first called, right? So it doesn't matter. So everyone, you don't need to worry too much, but this one is the toString equals hash code. You can directly use because it belongs to, they all belong to object class. Okay, so now we finish our architecture of the Java language. We move to the last portion of our inheritance, general inheritance, is we call the interface. Interface is a special class, which can have fields. So it have first part fields or data are final and static. Okay, so even you don't declare that the fields are final and static in the interface, the fields can only have, all data only have the final and the static as it's, you cannot modify it. This one is a static globally, global exist. And for the methods, all methods are abstract methods. Okay, so interface is all methods are abstract methods. You cannot have your own methods inside, so it's all abstract methods. So interface is, you cannot create the instance of the interface, but other other classes can implement the interface. Okay, so you cannot create an instance for this interface, but other classes can implement the interface. When the class implement the interface, it should override all methods declared in the interface. Okay, when you implement, you should override all the methods declared in the interface. Okay, so some guys may have questions why I need an interface. So interface is a kind of way to communicate with customers. So this is provide the protected way when the class talks to the customer. What the why is called the protected way, we will see through the examples. Okay, so let us see how we do that. Okay, so through an example, I will share the screen. From the NetBeans, we will go to the NetBeans. Okay, so I have already created the interface example. So interface example is the class with the main method. Okay, inside you can create an interface named shape. So previously you do is, okay, I do this class, right? So when I save it, it will be the class, the normal one. So when you declare it as an interface, you can do that interface. Okay, this one is the interface. I create a shape interface. Okay, instead of the shape abstract class, I do the shape interface. So inside the shape interface, I want to have, I don't want to add any fields into this interface, but I want to declare public public double get area. Okay, so I want to have this one. I want to have public. I want to get area. I want to void to print. Okay, I want to implement this two. You can see that this is abstract methods, right? But you don't declare as abstract here. So this is different from abstract class. So here, all interface methods in the interface are treated like abstract class, but you don't declare as abstract class, abstract method. Okay, so this is the method. You only have the method header without only method head without body. So there's no body. So this is the interface. I will declare another interface is called the color. So this is another interface I will call the color. So inside I will have one variable. So I have interface color value. So I have interface string. So I will first give it as for example, blue. Okay, I give it a first value because it cannot be empty. So I will let the color value be the blue, or I declare as a color. Color is blue. And I can do another method is a public string get color. Okay, so I can get color. So let us try whether we can have the constructor or not. So because it's not construct public color, so you will see some error message. So this time you cannot declare constructor because it's in interface. So interface, you can only have the fields and the methods declared in that one. So the methods. Okay, so now I will save it and I will create a new class is called rectangle. Okay, so if I want to implement those interface, the keywords will be implements. Okay, then you should give the, for example, shape. So of course you will have error message. You should override two methods provided by shape class. You can also implement different from the abstract class. You can only have one superclass, but this time you can have multiple interface. You can implement multiple interface. So I can implement a shape as well as I can do color. Okay, so then this time I need to override 4 of it. So three methods, 2 from the shape class, 2 from the color class. So I will do, any questions? Okay, so wait, let's go. Oh, I will have double lens, so private, double lens, private, double wise. Okay, so I will do public rectangle, double lens, double wise, string color. Okay, so string color. So inside the color, the general color is blue, right? So I want to override it. So I want to color. Oh, here. Okay, I have another constructor. Okay, so now since I implement, so I will do, I need to override all the methods provided by this guy. So I will do public double get area, right? So I should do this. So I will put override it because it's implement return length times twice, right? So this one is, I first override it, and the public double, I should override to print, right? Void to print, and put override there. So it's override the shape interface. So I will S out. This is the rectangle, is the area, is the area. Okay, so this one is the, I override the shape class, now shape interface. Then I should, sorry, here, I should override string get color, because this one is, I should override, since I implement the color interface, so I should override get color methods declare at the color method. So return color, right? Color. Okay, so this is the color. Okay, so save it. And then this time I will create. So first we do the normal. So rectangle A shape equals to new rectangle. New rectangle 5, 3. Right, so S out. I will say A shape. Then to get area, and S out A shape dot get color. Okay, let us see what happens. So this one means I don't create anything, right? So no. Right, so this one is the red and the 15. This is the rectangle. This is the normal when I do declare as a rectangle. Okay, so now I can also do the polymorphism to say that this is the type is shape. But you will see that you will have an error message for that one because the shape interface only have get area and to print. You cannot have get color. If you declare use the interface, you can only use the methods provided at that interface. So then I can forbid the other guys to access the methods declared in the color. In this example, is in the color interface. So if I declare it as a color, so then you cannot access get area methods. Although you know that this one is the rectangle class, but this one is make sure you use the interface to declare the data type, then you can only get color. Okay, so you cannot do anything get area. So this one is the things we cannot access. So this one is the way we do in the polymorphism. So interface can limit the customer to access, only methods declared in the interface. So if I definitely want to access get area, how do I do? It's possible, so I can declare another variable, say B shape equals to, okay, I will do typecasting to say A shape is definitely a rectangle, then I can use B to access. So you can do the same thing here. So it's no problem. If you know it's directly, then you should do typecast. And this typecasting, we use it. I don't recommend you to use this typecasting because when we determine the interface, we try to separate the rights for each customers. So that the accessor, I only want them to access the customer. I only want to access a group of methods, not the whole methods. Because if you want to access whole methods, then you give too much power to the customer or to the other guys or to the other programmer. But if I do the interface, so I can separate the functions so that they can only access a subset of the methods only provided or only declared in the interface. Another good thing for the interface is it gives you the hint when you do the implementation. You should override all the methods declared in the interface. So if you're missing some methods by mistake, then you will get error message because the interface force you to implement all the methods declared in its interface. So this is the usage for the interface. Any questions? Okay, so I will share the screen. Okay, so this one is a programming assignment 4. The deadline is April 18, so you have 16 days to do that. So anyone can can solve this. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so we have the SVG. So how do we draw a figure on our website? So this one is the way we do. So SVG. SVG will have the shapes as an array list. So the list shape is the array list. and you have the height and the width for this SVG. It determines how big your picture it is. So the render will be the print out functions, and add shape, it will add the shape to the list, okay? And we have aggregated, I aggregate shape to the SVG class. So make sure you can do aggregation. This one, and our shape class is the abstract class. It has 3 subclass. So sub-concrete classes. One is line, one is rectangle, one is circle. And in the shape class, it will have one field is called the styles. So it will determine your shape style. For example, your shape is fill in certain kind of color, or you don't fill in any color, and how the whether you use the board type to draw the line, or you don't use, you use very thin to draw the line. And another for the style maybe is what the color associated with the shape, right? So you have this kind of thing. And it provides two concrete methods and one abstract method. So concrete render and add style is concrete, means you should implement it in the shape class. And if you see the Italian style, the render attributes, this one is the abstract class. So you have a render attributes, it should be override at all this concrete class. So you have line, you have rectangle, you have circle, all write this render attributes, right? Override the render attributes, because the render attributes is the abstract method. Okay, so the skeleton, I also provide what it should look like, the declaration. You can see the blue, I think it's light blue things, is the declaration and the fields for each class I have already provided. And you should implement the command line, so arguments. And you should also, starting the next class, we will do the exception. So for the exception, we will have try catch. This one is also required. So at this time, you don't need to worry too much about the passing errors, but when you finish exceptions next class, you should be able to do this. Okay, so there's a lot of things. We have 3 types of shape, is line, rectangle, and a circle. Your output should be look like is this showing here. So you have line, you have x1, y1, x2, y2, and then the style, everything is use the single comma. And if your rectangle, it looks like this, and if it's a circle, it looks like this. So this is the output. The input will be, I give you the packet for you to testing, so that it's, I give you the examples here. So if I have the SVG, this is the size of the figure, and it has one rectangle. This is the style. One style means you fill in color, a color. So this one, and this is the first shape, 3 lines. But you may have more. You may have more styles. So for the next one, I want to draw a line. Then it will have 3 styles there. So when you, I have the third one is another line, has 3 styles. And the fourth one, I have rectangle, have three lines. And the last one is a circle. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 styles. So when you run these text files, then it will give you the results looks like this. So It will have one SVG, give you the size of SVG, and then you will have 5 lines. 5 lines, each line will be looks like this. So you convert your reading from your files and convert to the rectangle or line look like this. So one shape is one line. One shape is one line. And when you finish, you will have slash SVG. So means you finish this figure. So here is the requirement for you to do the output. So your output should looks like this. Okay. And when you finish this one, actually, when you plug it into your web browser, if you have web browser and you plug in, associate with the HTML language, so this is the actual figure. Your above, this is SVG, this is the code, and this is the actual figure. This actual figure, you don't need to print it out. You don't need to use the program to achieve this figure. You only need to do is give me this output. But if you want to see the figure, you can plug in your web browser so that it will show like this. But it's not required when you submit your code. Okay, so some useful resources. You should be familiar with Aril. So you should be able to do the basic file reading and writing. And you have print stream, so to print out, and you have scanner to read from the file. And next class, starting from the next class, we will do the exception, and we were talking about the IO exception. Any question?